Most people start a business for one simple reason: freedom. Freedom of time, freedom of money, the freedom to be your own boss. And in the beginning, that feeling is real. You are excited, you are motivated, you are finally in control. But for most entrepreneurs, something shifts within the first year. Instead of building freedom, they have just built another job. A job with longer hours than before, more stress than before, and often less reliable income than before. And the most frustrating part? They don't understand why. According to the E-Myth Revisited, this happens because most people misunderstand what a business actually is. They believe that if you're great at a skill, if you're a talented baker, a gifted designer, a skilled developer, then you're ready to run a business based on that skill. But that assumption is where most businesses begin to fail. And in the next few minutes, you will learn why. 5 lessons from the E-Myth Revisited. Each one reshapes how you think about building a business that actually works. Not harder, not longer, but differently. The first lesson is what Gerber calls the fatal assumption. It sounds completely logical when you first hear it. If you understand how to do the work, you understand how to run a business that does the work. A great baker opens a bakery. A talented designer starts a design agency. A skilled developer launches a software company. On the surface, this seems like a natural progression, but Gerber argues it is one of the most dangerous mistakes a person can make, because doing the work and running the business are two entirely different jobs. The baker knows how to make bread, but running a bakery means managing staff, controlling costs, handling customers, planning marketing, tracking inventory, and making hundreds of decisions that have nothing to do with baking. When people confuse technical skill with entrepreneurial skill, they build businesses that depend entirely on themselves. They become the center of every decision, every task, every problem, every process. And over time, the pressure becomes unsustainable because the business cannot breathe without them. The moment you truly understand this distinction, you realize what a business is actually supposed to be. A business is not the work itself. A business is the system that produces the work. The second lesson introduces one of the most useful frameworks in the entire book. Inside every entrepreneur, Gerber says, there are 3 distinct personalities: the technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur. The technician lives in the present. They want to get things done. They love the craft. They take pride in doing the work well. The manager lives in the past. They create order from what already exists. They build systems, set schedules, and maintain structure. The entrepreneur lives in the future. They are the dreamer. They see possibilities where others see problems. They ask not what is, but what could be. A functioning business needs all 3. But here's the problem Gerber identifies. Most small business owners are completely dominated by the technician. They started the business because they loved the work, and they still want to do it all themselves, so they hire as little as possible. They delegate reluctantly. They believe no one else can do it right. And the result is a business that is permanently stuck. There is no vision, no structure, no growth, just constant execution. Real growth only happens when all 3 personalities are given room to operate. The entrepreneur sets the direction. The manager builds the structure. The technician does the work. Without that balance, the business cannot scale beyond its owner. Now, the next 2 lessons are where most business owners completely lose control, and fixing them is what separates businesses that scale from the ones that burn the owner out. The third lesson is arguably the most transformative idea in the entire book. Work on your business, not in it. Most entrepreneurs spend their days completely consumed by daily operations, answering emails, handling customer problems, managing deliveries, fixing whatever broke today. And while these things matter, they are not what grows a business. They are what maintains it. Working on the business is a completely different activity. It means stepping back from the daily noise and asking harder questions. Why is this task being done this way? Could this process be automated? Could someone else do this better? if they had the right training? Could this entire function run without my involvement? This is the mindset behind every great franchise. Think about what makes a franchise work. It is not that every franchise owner is uniquely talented, it is that the system is so clearly defined that almost anyone can follow it and produce a consistent result. The process is the product. Gerber's challenge to every business owner is this: could you document your business well enough that a stranger could run it? If the answer is no, and for most people it is no, then the business has not been well designed. It has simply been happening. If the business stops the moment you stop working, it's not a business, it's a job. The fourth lesson is something most entrepreneurs resist until they experience it for themselves. Systems create freedom. When most people hear the word system, they think of bureaucracy, red tape, rigid processes that kill creativity and slow everything down. But Gerber means something much simpler and much more powerful. A system is just a repeatable way of doing something. How you respond to a new customer inquiry, how you deliver your core product or service, how you handle a complaint, how you bring a new team member up to speed. When these processes are written down and consistently followed, the business becomes predictable, and predictability is incredibly valuable. Without systems, every day is a fresh challenge. You solve the same problems again and again. You rely on memory instead of process. You cannot delegate because nothing is documented. Every decision comes back to you. But when systems exist, the business starts to behave differently. Tasks can be handed off. Quality becomes consistent regardless of who performs the task. Time opens up. And here's the thing that surprises most people. Systems do not reduce creativity, they protect it. When you're not constantly solving operational problems, you finally have the mental space to think strategically, to improve, to grow. Freedom in business does not come from doing less. It comes from building systems that mean you don't have to do everything yourself. The fifth lesson is the destination all the others are pointing toward. Build a business that can run without you. This is not a luxury for large companies. It is the definition of what a real business actually is. Here's a test Gerber suggests. Imagine you had to create a complete operations manual for your business tomorrow. Every task documented, every process written down, every decision explained. Then you hand that manual to someone who has never met you, and they run the business exactly as you would. Could they do it? Or does the business exist entirely inside your head? If the second answer is true, and it is true for most small businesses, then the business is fragile. It depends on one person, one set of relationships, one person's energy and availability. That is the bottleneck. But when processes are documented, systems are clear, and roles are defined, the business becomes something different. It becomes scalable, it becomes transferable, it becomes an asset. Something that can grow beyond your personal capacity, something that generates value whether you are working or not. That is not just a better business, it's what freedom actually looks like. If there is one idea that connects all 5 of these lessons, it's this. Most people who start businesses do not build businesses, they build jobs. Jobs that depend on their presence, their energy, and their constant involvement. And over time, those jobs become prisons. Not because the person isn't talented, not because they aren't working hard enough, but because the business was never designed. It was just started. Gerber's challenge is to do something most people never do. To step back from the work and design the system that produces the work. To think like an entrepreneur, not just a craftsperson. Because, in the long run, success in business is not about how talented you are. It's not about how hard you work. It's about how well your system works. And a business built on a great system can outlast any single person, including you. If you value ideas that help you think more strategically about business, this channel is built for that. Every video takes one great business or finance book and pulls out the lessons that actually change how you think. Subscribe if that's what you're looking for.